7 months ago, I bought my childhood dream car, a Camaro. This 2024 Camaro 2SS. Since then, I've driven it 3,500 miles, which isn't a lot, but it certainly is enough to get to know the car. I've driven it on a lot of roads and in a lot of conditions. I've driven it in the rain, in the freezing rain, at night, during the day, in the cold, in the blistering heat of summer, in city traffic, through mountain roads, and everything in between. I feel like after 3,500 miles and 7 months with this car, I have a pretty good idea of what I love about it, which, spoiler alert, is almost everything. That being said, no car is perfect, and this Camaro, my childhood dream car, is not an exception. You see, after having this car for 7 months, there are some things that I could never quite get used to. There are some things that made me question GM's design choices. There are some things that I don't really like, and there are some things that I definitely hate. And today, I'm going to talk about them. So here are 7 things that I dislike, maybe even hate, about my 2024 Camaro 2SS. The first thing that I don't like about my Camaro is that there's no phone storage. When you first get the car, there's really nowhere to put your phone. I mean, you could put it here, you could put it there, which is, I guess, fine in an automatic, but not fine when you need to shift, because I can't even put it in first right now. Ignore this. This is a Pro Clip, which is the best phone mounting solution I've found for all of my cars so far. Shout out to Pro Clip. Really, this front area here, from the parking brake and up, there's really nowhere to put your phone, unless you get one of these bad boys. The next logical place is your cup holder. So as you can see, which I don't know if it's clear, but one of them is bigger than the other. This is the next most logical place to put your phone. This kind of sucks when you're driving though, because you have to look down and reach back to get to here. Good to just leave it there and drive, but also not very secure. It'll rattle, you know, it'll shake, it'll get tossed around on bumpy roads and hard turns and whatnot. So really not great. Does the job in a pinch, but does not do an excellent job. As you can see right now, my phone with my case does not actually fit in the smaller cup holder, which is something I just learned today. Unless you put it like that, then sure, I guess, you know? So yeah, phone storage, not great. You have your little cubby in here, which has my original Camaro badge. USB port in there. The front, this little front pocket is pretty much completely useless, and then there's a deeper portion back there, which is about 1.5 inches deeper, so you can store your wallet or something. But again, if it's something that you're going to be leaving in and out of the car with often, there's really no point in putting anything in there, because then you have to lift this whole thing up, and it's not great. And then your two other options are that door pocket and that door pocket. One of them is decently deep and does go in a bit, but like I really don't know what else you would want to put in here other than like a towel or like a flashlight or anything. And this one is more of a handle really than anything, you know? So I wouldn't put anything there that I would trust to not fall out if I open this door. Interior storage for general life items and personal items, not great. Not great. Just gonna go ahead and tuck you right there. Perfect. The second thing that I dislike about my Camaro is something that I actually noticed on probably my 3rd or 4th drive with it. And that is the position of the traction control button and the mode select switch. That right there. This made me question GM's designers. Why? If you've ever been in traffic or the kind of driving that you need to shift gears often, you will notice this. You're shifting, you're going back and forth, and you don't necessarily want to put your arm all the way back in the armrest, right? So what do? You can rest your wrist right here, you know, so you can make your shift and come back down. You can make your shift, come back down. Now what happens if you do that incorrectly, or you put your wrist down in the wrong place or your palm down in the wrong place? You are going to hit your mode select button. It's happened more than a few times already where I'll be shifting or I'll be driving somewhere, and I'll shift and I'll just put my palm down and I'll switch into touring mode, into ice mode, whatever other mode there is on this, I will accidentally switch into it. Or say I'm driving and it's raining and I'm just shifting back and forth, I can actually turn off my traction control, which is not great. I don't know what designer thought it would be a good idea to put something as important as a mode switch button in a location that can often accidentally get hit. There are so many other places you could have put the mode select button, which, by the way, I'm glad that they didn't tie it into like the infotainment. That's annoying. I want a physical button and or switch to change drive modes and traction control and whatnot. I just feel like putting it dead smack in the middle where you actuate your shifts and potentially rest your palm was a very dumb idea. They didn't even bother to put like a cover, which, by the way, I am working with someone to 3D print one and try to get that sorted out. It's not something that you should be worrying about as the owner of a car. You want to have a variety of relaxed driving positions. Sometimes I'll drive like this, sometimes I'll drive like this. Sometimes I just want to rest my hand here so I can go get to the shift knob if I need to. Parking brake situation, not so bad. Like there's really no way to hit that, and there's enough spring tension on it where it's not gonna easily be actuated. Whereas this, really easy to touch, and there's enough leverage, it sticks up enough where your palm could just press it. Same with the traction control. The third thing I don't like about my Camaro is how far the seats recline. This is the 2SS model, which means that it has the power memory seats that are vented and heated. All great, all things I was looking for. And then I tried to take a nap on my lunch break. In the WRX, wasn't a problem. In the BRZ, wasn't a problem. In my daily driver, which is a Kia, no problem. This is how far you can recline in a 6th gen Camaro. That's it. This is literally, I am hitting the button, and that's it. I'll move my seat forward, see if I can recline more. That's it. I don't know if you can. This is how far the seat reclines. This is not an optimal napping position. As a competitive, medal-winning napper, I'm so passionate about napping. Sometimes I nap while driving. This is not enough to nap. This is insane. Why? Why would you give me vented and heated, comfortable leather seats with a memory function if I can't recline enough to take a good nap? You know how elite naps would be if I had the vented seat going in the summer? Oh my god, it would be nirvana, all right? This is how far. This is literally it. This is like, I think I drive, hold on, let me set my driving seat right now. The amount of recline that I drive with is literally a few degrees more or less. It's a few degrees less than the maximum reclination, recline of this thing. Look at it. Look at it. This is my driving position. All right, head on the headrest. This is my driving position, and this is the maximum recline of a 6th gen Camaro. That is insane. Why? Why would you do that? The seat does not recline nearly enough. GM, Chevrolet, why? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? I want to nap in my car, damn it. My fourth dislike is once again inside the car. It's a feature that is good in theory, but is executed and implemented so poorly that it might as well not be a feature at all. And that is the wireless charging pad. It's located behind the armrest. I guess they marketed it as like a rear passenger thing, but let's be realistic, you're not really putting anyone in the back of the Camaro, so why not put it somewhere else? But also, my biggest gripe with it, right, is that it doesn't fit new phones. The 6th gen Camaro has been around since here. This is when it was introduced. And I feel like they kept the wireless charging pad for phones of that size, and they didn't account for the phone size increase or cases. Because this is not the plus version of the iPhone 13. It's an iPhone 13 Pro with a case on it, and it is too big to wirelessly charge on that. It doesn't make a good connection, it doesn't make good contact, or it doesn't even lay flat. Why? You know, like the shape of the charging pad, the size of it's just so weird and small, that's what she said, that there's really no point in having it there. Even if you are a rear passenger, God forbid you lost your legs and you had to sit in the back of a Camaro, which is the only comfortable way to sit in the back of a Camaro, and you wanted to wirelessly charge your phone, if you have anything like semi-modern with a case on it, it's not gonna fit. I would rather them put a cup holder there. I would rather them put, I don't know, more USB ports. Something useful. Because right now, it's just wasted space that rear passengers won't even use, and couple that with the fact that the front seats don't recline far enough back. Again, the seat is slid as far back as it can go, and it's reclined as far back as it can go. This is the angle that I have to have my arm at in order to reach my phone. Now, just put a cubby back there. Just put USB ports. Put something useful. Because imagine you're at a rest stop where you just want to hang out, you want to take a nap or anything, and in order to get to your phone that you're wirelessly charging, you have to reach back this way, and then say you're done checking your phone, you want to put it back down, and it doesn't even make good contact and it won't charge. Just don't include it at all. The next thing I dislike about my Camaro takes us outside to the back, and that is the trunk opening. That's it. That's your trunk opening. Now, I get it. There's like structural and safety regulations that they want to uphold. There's rigidity, but the trunk itself is surprisingly large. It goes pretty far back that way. It's got enough room to hold a bag and a half. I got a trunk organizer back here. You know, it's got enough room to hold 2 trunk organizers, a couple bags. There's a surprising amount of room in the trunk of a 6th gen Camaro. But what good is having all this room on the inside if you can't fit anything easily? Fun fact, this trunk organizer from Costco has to be Tetrised into place. I have to twist it, get one side of it in, and then twist it the other way, and then slide it in, and that way it'll fit. Now, obviously, this is fine because it's flexible and it's fabric and whatever. But what if I had a larger suitcase? It'll definitely fit in here, but it won't fit in here, which is annoying. You could just see how much room, like if they brought this out flat, it would be cool. But then the taillights are in the way. But I'm just saying, like, this opening size and shape is not ideal. This angle, you can pretty much see the ratio of trunk opening to rear of the car, and you could just, it's quite small. All right, that's enough of that. Number 6. The 6th thing I dislike about my Camaro is something that I definitely noticed right away, and that is the skip shift feature. If you don't know what that is, if you're in first gear going below a certain RPM, it forces you to shift from first to fourth. It's very jarring if you're not used to it, if you don't expect it. I feel like it's a good way to damage something because you're going to try to pull harder into second. It's going to increase wear and tear. It's some sort of like emissions regulation or feature that they tried to implement, which kind of sucks because if I'm driving slow and I just want to get first to second, it straight up locks me out of second and third. But as someone who's been driving manual since I've owned cars, it's super jarring and super annoying to not be able to shift the car the way I want to when I want to. There are ways to get around that. You can buy a skip shift eliminator that you plug in. It disables the lockout solenoid. But it is aftermarket and you have to spend extra money to install it. It's not expensive, but the fact that you have to spend money in order to shift the car the way you want is a bummer to me. And yes, you can get used to it, you know, just by driving the car. I don't have a skip shift eliminator. I'm just used to shifting above a certain RPM. It's not really a problem now, it's more of an annoyance. And the thing that is extra annoying is you can't disable the message. So even if you had the skip shift eliminator, even if you do know what RPM to shift at, if you're driving in first gear and you hit that RPM and it thinks that you're going to want to shift, it'll tell you, hey, you have to shift into fourth because of skip shift, or whatever message it leaves. It's annoying. It's inconvenient. Why can I not just disable it in the settings? I bought the car, man. Let me shift it. That's number 6. And 7th on my list of dislikes, and last on my list, is visibility. But not the visibility that people generally complain about in Camaros. I think for the 6th gen especially, that's way overblown. Once you adjust your mirrors, once you adjust your rear view, you can see what you need to. Plus, there's the side sensors on the car and the camera in the shark fin antenna. So that eliminates that problem, in my experience anyway. The visibility I'm talking about is over-the-hood visibility. As you can see, long hood on that boy. Not as long as some cars, but that mixed with the seating position, it's very difficult to see over the hood of the car. Generally, that's not a problem, but when you're parking, if you're trying to park nose forward, it's hard to be sure that you're not gonna run into that little concrete barrier. It's difficult to tell if you're about to hit your boy's Miata, which happened to me on my upstate trip. And honestly, from a design perspective, I understand it's the classic muscle car geometry of long hood, low seat, that kind of thing. And I'm not even referring to that as a visibility issue. What I wish they did was more actively combat that. You don't have to see over the hood while you're driving. It's not a crazy necessary thing. As long as you can see in front of you clear, you can estimate pretty well in regular scenarios. The issue arrives when you're parking, or you know, if you're moving in slower, more precise manners. And what I wish they did was include some sort of front camera or front sensors. It's very common in cars these days. It's not a cheap car either, so why not? You know, if visibility is such a pain point. I mean, look at all the sensors they put on the back of the car. As you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 proximity sensors, a backup camera. We have camera in the antenna. We got the blind spot monitoring and nothing up front. Even just putting a camera here, some sensors would make a world of difference. Why not put some sensors on the front for your front blind spots? It just doesn't make sense to me. Now, I still love the Camaro. I love the car to death. It's still my dream car. It doesn't change how I look at the car. But with those 7 things, it's kind of just, why? Why? The battery's dying, so I'm going to end it here. Those are the 7 things I question, dislike, and or hate about my dream car, my 2024 6th gen Camaro.